Assalamu alaikum. This is Sarah Bazan presenting Unit 4, the Hello book. Okay, the unit is called Changing English. In this video, you will have the student's book practice with answers and the workbook practice with answers and with extra activities after the whole unit. So let's start. First, we'll have the objectives of the unit, the reading. We have a reading about an article about the effects of messaging on English today, text messages, and a text about Shakespeare and language, and a blog post. Also, there will be writing a blog post, and listening, a speaker talking about messaging tips on how to write a successful blog post, speaking, and the language, which is the grammar part. It includes the reported speech, the reporting orders, requests, and advice, and also the use of could and should have plus the past participle plus the life skills communication. In this video, we will be tackling the reading and the language part only. Okay, the writing, the listening, and the life skill and the speaking also will be left the students for more and extra practice. So let's start the unit. First, we will be dealing with some of the vocabulary that will help us through the unit and in the reading activities. Okay, a short form of a word or a phrase, this is called abbreviation, and this is a noun. Images with certain expressions used on messaging, this is called emoji. Okay. Next, a person who introduced new things. Who is he? An innovator, and this is a noun. A person who knows several foreign languages well. This is a linguist. It's also a noun. Okay. To have an expression on your face that shows you are not happy, like the face that appears in front of you, this is a verb called frown. I frown. It's a verb. Something that you say or do to make people laugh. Joke. Very good. To damage something so badly that it loses all its value. Ruin. And what part of a speech is ruin? It's a verb. Okay, to move along quickly. This is speed up. Speed up. A very large, expensive house. This is called mansion. Mansion. And it's also a noun. To injure someone with a sharp pointed object such as a knife, it has to be a sharp thing. Stab. I stab using a knife, a sharp glass. It needs to be with a sharp edge. It's a verb. Stab. Okay, the quality of being good and deserving praise. Merit. Merit. And the synonym for it is an advantage. Advantage is the synonym for merit. The opposite will be demerit, a fault or a disadvantage. Okay, to speak angrily to someone telling them that you disagree with them, this is argue. And again, this is a verb, argue. And the noun from argue is argument. Okay, serious discussion of a subject in which many people take part, this is a debate. Debate. Okay, let's now look at different abbreviations that we use in messaging. Like the LOL, this means laugh out loud. PLZ stands for please. Okay, these were just examples and the rest will be covered in the book itself. So let's now start by the sum of the students' books practice. Now, I want you to open page 42. Okay, we'll be doing the first exercise or activity, which is look at the list of abbreviations below and match the abbreviations. Okay, so while you are going through all the activities here in this video, I recommend you that you pause the video, do the activity first, and then resume the video back to check the answers. Okay, so again, you need to pause, do the activity, then resume to check the answers. So let's now look at activity number 1. The answer is here. Okay, you will find the answer under the exercise itself. The second activity, read the messages and choose the best abbreviation for each gap. So you see here 5 gaps. We need to choose the correct answer. Also, you'll be giving time to check and do the activity, pause the video, and then resume to check the answers. And here are the answers. Okay. Next is the next page, page 43. You have an article here. Okay, the article is in page 43 and also is provided to you in the video. You are going to read the article and choose the best title, A, B, or C. So this article can have the title, Text Messaging Language is Changing English. Why adults can't use text messaging language? How often, or how, to learn text messaging language. So you can take 1 minute to skim the article and then choose the best title. Okay, so the answer for this is A. Text messaging language is changing English. Okay, now we move on to the activity 5. Match the verbs to the functions. So you are going to read these verbs, advise, ask, encourage, tell, and word, and you are going to tell me this verb gives a positive advice or a negative advice, it's for order or for request. And as you see here in the box, the positive advice is going to be used twice. So here, now you pause the video, do the activity, and then resume the video again to check for your answers. And here are the correct answer. Okay. Next, I want you to move to page 44. Page 44, activity 1 in the vocabulary part. Choose the meaning of these words and phrases. You can check them in the dictionary. So the first one is done. Tone is the change in your voice that shows what you are feeling or thinking. Now take your time to answer number 2, 3, and 4. Choose the best meaning for them. To misunderstand, not necessarily to frown. So pause the video and now resume to check your answers. And here is the correct answer. Okay. Then the language part. The use of could, should have, plus the past participle. So this is on page 45. So as you see, we use could have plus the past participle to say that something was possible in the past or something had the ability to do something. I can also use the negative form for it when I want to say that something wasn't possible in the past, so I would say couldn't have plus past participle. What about should have? I use should have plus past participle to make a prediction, like when I say they should have arrived by now. Also, I use it to talk about regret in the past. She should have put her phone down. Should you have called your grandparents yesterday? Okay, also I can use it in the negative form. But when? To say that something in the past wasn't a good idea. She shouldn't have got upset. Shouldn't have plus past participle. Okay, so now it's the time for practice. So, in page 45, we go into page, page 44, activity 5. Page 44, activity 5. Look at the sentences from exercise 2 and complete them with the correct form of the verb in brackets. So now, pause the video Do the activity. Take like 5 minutes to do it, and then resume the video to check your answers. And here are the answers. Yeah, here above. It's shown in front of you. Okay, now let's move on to the second activity on page 44, activity 6. Complete the sentences using could have, couldn't have, should have, or shouldn't have. Let me do the first one with you. Ashraf's been unkind to his sister. He knew she would be upset. So what's the correct answer here? So Ashraf shouldn't have been unkind to his sister. He knew she would be upset. Okay, so now take 5 minutes, pause the video and do the activity. Then resume the video to check your answers. Okay, here, as you see, these are the answers for the activity. Okay, now this is the second language part. We talk about prefixes. What are prefixes? These are short words we added at the beginning of the word to give a different meaning. Like the examples you see now. Misunderstand, misbehave. So miss is a prefix. Reread, redo. Re is a prefix. Unpopular, unusual. Disadvantage, disabled, illegal, impossible, impolite. So these short words that I added at the beginning is called a prefix. So it gives a different meaning. Okay? When I add this short word at the end, it's called suffix. Like when I say comfort, comfortable. Able that I added at the end of comfort, this is a suffix. Comfortable. Read, I add the ER, will be reader. Do, doer. Use, user. Teacher, writer. So I'm adding the suffix ER. Okay, what about careless, less, useless? So less here is the suffix. Employment, punctuation, shin. Helpful, full is a suffix. So suffix is to add it at the end of the word. Prefix to add it the word at the beginning. Okay, so now in the book, page 46, let's practice on these suffixes and prefixes. So in exercise 3, you will find 2 parts. Okay, a table with a prefix and a table for or a bar, a box with the suffix. The prefix miss, re, and un that you see them here, and the suffix able, er, and less. So with these verbs, care, do, read, understand, use, and write, you are going to put what is suitable or what can be possible to add of the prefixes and what can be possible to add from the suffixes, and write them in front of the verb. Okay, so now you pause the video, do the activity, give yourself 5 to 7 minutes, do the activity, and then resume the video to check the answer. And don't forget that I need you to put all the possible prefixes and suffixes, not only one. Like for example, in the first one, do, I can say redo, I can say undo. So I want you to put all the possible prefixes and the suffixes. I can say doable, doer. So not only choose one. Okay, here is the correct answer for the activity. Now let's move to the next one, number 4. So let's answer these questions. Give the word the opposite meaning. So what prefix here I can put in order to give the opposite meaning? Okay, very good. Number 2 means that something happens again. Again. Okay, the re, very good. means that something happens in the wrong way. In the wrong way. Miss. So, also we need to do the suffix. So, what suffix makes the noun for a person? Okay, and means possible, something that is possible. Yes, and means without. So here is the correct answer. For number 1, un, 2, re, 3, miss, 4, er, 5, able, 6, less. Okay, now we are moving to the grammar part of the unit, which talks about the reported speech. Okay, so let's see here. In the reported speech, we can have it in form of questions, imperatives, or when I'm reporting something with using the verbs say, tell, and ask. So let's have first some of the examples. I'm eating a sandwich. So he said, I'm eating a sandwich. This is a sentence somebody said. So if I want to report it, how can I report it? He said that he was eating a sandwich. So here I changed the sentence from the direct speech to the indirect speech. Here, I am eating a sandwich. He said he was eating a sandwich. How do we change the direct speech to the indirect speech? We change 4 things. We change the tense of the verb, we change the pronouns, and also we change the adverbs of time and place. So let's see first how we change the verb tenses. As you see here in this slide, when I'm using a present simple, it changed into the past. I eat a sandwich, I ate. Am eating will be was eating. Have eaten will be had eaten. Have been eating, had been eating. Will eat, would eat. Shall eat, should eat. Can eat, could eat. So we change one step backward. We go one step backward in the tenses of the verb. We have to pay attention to this note that past perfect and past perfect continuous, they don't change in the reported speech. Okay, this is a summary of the changes of the verbs or the tenses from the direct speech to the reported speech. Just have a look at them. Okay. Now, let's see some of the changes in the auxiliary verbs, like am is an are becomes was and were, shall, will, should, would, may becomes might, must and have or has to changed to had to, needn't it changed into didn't need to or didn't have to. But must remain the same when it expresses possibility or deduction. Like the example, he said she must be at home. He said that she must have been at home. So I didn't change must into had to because in this sentence I'm explaining a possibility. Also would, could, used to, mustn't, should, might, had better, ought to, all of these expressions, they don't change in the reported speech. Now we move to the second thing we change in the reported speech, which is the adverbs of frequency, the adverbs of time. So as you see in the table, when I have in the direct speech this, is changed into that in indirect speech. Today will be that day. Tonight, that night. These, those, now, then, ago, before, last, the previous, next, the following. Tomorrow is the next day or the following day. And yesterday, the day before. What I need to do in this stage, I need to memorize these adverbs of time. You memorize that, it changed from this in the indirect into that of the indirect. Okay, let's see some of the verbs that I use them when I change from direct to indirect. The first verb is say. So I say good morning, say something, say one's prayers. These are some of the expressions that I use them with the verb say. Tell the truth, tell a lie, tell the time, tell a story, tell somebody a secret, tell somebody the way, tell one from another. Tell one from another, it means to differentiate. Tell the difference, tell somebody's fortune. Ask, so ask a favor, ask the time, ask a question, ask the price. Okay, this is two examples quickly to find the correct answer. So the first one, that he had applied for the job. So what is the correct answer? Said, excellent. Number two, me, that she would visit me the following week. So what would be the correct answer? Told. Okay. These are some of the extra examples. I'm reading a story. Tom said that he was reading a story. I will watch the TV, Max said to his mom. Max told his mom that he would watch the TV. Okay, here in the video, you will find more examples. So at any time of the video, when you find the sentence, you can pause the video, do the sentence first as a practice for you, then resume the video to check the correct answer. Okay. I have been studying here all day, he said. So I would say here you are changing from the direct into the indirect. So you would say he said that. That between brackets, it means that I can omit it. It can be excluded. He said that he had been studying there all day. Another example. And here is the answer. Now we move on to the reported speech with commands, requests, and suggestions. So let's look at the sentence here. Ahmed shouted, saying, "Bring me the newspaper." So how I can say this? Ahmed told me to bring him the newspaper. Mom said, "Don't make noise." So mom asked me not to make noise. This is a command. Okay, will you pour me a cup of coffee? Mariam asked. Mariam asked me to pour her a cup of coffee. This is a request. Why don't you hire a professional to help out with the decorating? He suggested. So here, this is a suggestion. He suggested hiring a professional to help out with the decorating. So this is a suggestion. So now we have here examples of reported command, request, and suggestion. So let's see this one. Some reported sentences are introduced with special introductory verbs, like advise, ask, warn, remind, encourage. So I can say, I advised her to visit a dentist. I threatened her. I promised. So what do you see here? That I'm using to plus the verb in the infinitive form. And these are extra verbs. I use them with certain commands. What about using the ing form when I'm reporting? I use it with suggestions like here. He suggested going to the cinema. He admitted stealing the car or to steal the car. So here are more examples. I will not lie again. He promised that he wouldn't lie again. Or he promised not to lie again. Both are correct. I won't talk to you. She refused to talk to him. You should go to the dentist, he said to me. He advised me to go to the dentist. I'm sorry I forgot our appointment. He said to me, he apologized to me for forgetting our appointment. Let's go shopping. She suggested going shopping. Okay. Now let's move to the book. It's on page 43. Now open page 43 and you will find activity 6 at the end of the page. So take 5 minutes to do the activity, pause the video and do it, and then resume the video back again to check the answers. And here are the answers. Okay, now we move on to page 47. Page 47. So on page 47 you will find this note. You are going to read it, okay, and you are going to read the blog post, this blog post, and which of these options is the best summary. So you give yourself 5 minutes to read the blog post and then choose the best summary from here, A, B, or C. Again, you pause the video, read it, take your time in reading it, and then check the answer. So the correct answer will be C. So the next activity, activity 4, you are going to label the parts. Label the parts here. So which part of this blog will be the conclusion, which part will be the headline, the introduction, or the main section. Again, don't forget, we pause the video, do the activity, and then resume to check the answers. Here is the correct answer. So here will be B, the headline, then the introduction, the main section, the conclusion. Okay, this is the last activity you are going to do in the student books. As you know, we are not taking King Lear as a drama. We are just including the vocabulary part in it. So we are doing the activity on page 51, matching the words with the definition. So now I want you to match the 10 words: guard, beggar, reward, profit, pretend, plot against someone, disbelieve, faithful, persuade, and port. So these 10 words take around 7 minutes to match them with the correct definition. Pause the video, do the activity, and then later on resume the video to check the answers. Okay, now here are the correct answers. So please check your answers quickly. Okay, by that part we have finished the practice activities in the student's book. Now I want you to move on to the workbook activities. So we are going to do some of the activities in the workbook section. It's at the end of the book. So let's open together page 24. Page 24. Okay. All the activities in the workbook, we are going simply to pause the video, do the activity, and then resume to find the correct answers for it. Okay? So activity 1, this is the correct answer. You can pause and then resume back again to check the answers. Activity 2. Okay, now we move on to page 25, the reading part. Okay. So again, I'm just providing you with the answer. As we said, we can stop to do the activity and resume the video to check the answers. Okay, and this is the next activity, the answers for it. Okay, next on page 25, you are going to read this chat on the right and then choose what is it about from here. Okay, again, the correct answer is C. Here, we are going to complete the gaps in the chat itself. Always, as I recommend you, to pause the video, check the answers with yourself. Sorry, do the activity first and then check the answers when you resume the video. And here are the correct answers. Okay, the next activity on page 25, activity 3, this is about the grammar should, could, couldn't, or shouldn't. Okay, do the activity first. It will take you 5 minutes, and then check your answers. Okay, next. So, you are going to read the article, and then, okay, you are going to read the article and choose the correct answer. This is on page 26. The answers are as follows. Okay, and this was the text. You find it in page 26. Okay, the next activity is to complete this table with the prefix and the suffix, remember? So from where are we getting these? We are getting them from this article. So you fill in the table from this article. Okay, and here are the answers for it. Okay, now let's move on. This report, you are going to read it and match the headings of the paragraphs. So give yourself like 5 minutes time, pausing the video, complete it, and then resume to check the answers. Okay. Now, we are going to do, as we said, the King Lear part. We are going only to do the vocabulary part from the King Lear. This is on page 28, the workbook, page 28. Okay, so again, you pause the video and do the activity, then check your answers. This is for activity number 1. Number 2, we are using the same words that we have here in activity 1 and putting them in the gaps of activity 2. Also, this won't take more than 5 to 7 minutes to do them first and then check the answers. Okay, this is the last one. It's matching the phrases with their meanings. Here is the correct answer. And for activity 4, this is the correct answer. So, by this activity, we have finished all the activities that we need to do in the workbook. Okay? Now, we are going to have more practice. This is from the book. So, we finished the student's book and the workbook. This is an extra activity provided to you, starting with the general exercise on the vocabulary. Also the same idea. You are going to pause the video, do the activity, and then check your answers. So number 1, for example, says, those who use social media are language what? Very good, language innovators. They introduce new ideas into language. So you circle the correct answer. So you pause the video, do the activity in a copybook that you have on your own, and then resume the video to check the answers. This is the next. So pause the video, do the activity, then check the answers. Next, take your time to do the activity, pausing the video, then resume to check the answers. This is on the language part, the grammar. You should always what? Excellent. Wash your hands before you eat. So the same idea. Pause the video, do the exercise, and check your answers. More. So we complete. Pause the video, do the activity in a notebook that you have, in a separate notebook, and then resume the video to check the answers. Okay, now we move to a dialogue exercise. So here is the dialogue. Take 5 minutes to do it. And here are some of the suggested answers. Another dialogue. Take your time to do it, pausing the video, and then check your answers. Now we move on to the situations. So we have like 6 situations here. Look at them. Take your time to put suggested answers in a separate notebook that you have. Then you will be provided with suggested answers. And remember that suggested answers, it means that this is not the only correct answer. There can be more possible answers, but this is one way of saying it. And here are some of the suggested answers for these certain situations. Okay, the next is a fill in gaps activity. So this is the first one. Take 4 minutes or 5 minutes to do it, pausing the video, and then these are the correct answers. Here is another fill in gaps. Same, pause the video to do the activity, and then resume to check the answers. The last thing is a translation practice. Okay, we translate into Arabic. So this is the first one. Sorry. So take your time to do this. First, it is well known that communication is the key to personal and career success that makes it necessary for everybody to develop their communication. A suggested answer: إنه من المتعارف عليه أن التواصل الاجتماعي هو مفتاح النجاح على المستوى الشخصي والمهني، ولذلك من الضروري على كل فرد أن يطور من مهارات التواصل. A second one: computer skills are necessary for the performance of a lot of business at the moment. You also need to know to use social networking sites the best way possible. A suggested answer would be: تعد مهارات الحاسب الآلي ضرورة في الأداء في كثير من الأعمال في الوقت الراهن. فأنت أيضا تحتاج لمعرفة كيفية استخدام مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي لأقصى درجة ممكنة. طيب, the last thing is to translate into English. إن اللغة تتطور بنفس سرعة التطور العلمي التكنولوجي، فالاختراعات الجديدة أوجدت مفردات جديدة، كما أن شبكات التواصل الاجتماعي أدت إلى سرعة انتقال المفردات من لغة لأخرى. طيب, a suggested answer for this would be: language develops on equal speed as the science and technological improvements, so new inventions has created new terminologies, and also social media networking has led to speed transaction of these terminologies from one language to another. Another one: تتيح الأجيال الجديدة من الهواتف الذكية إجراء مكالمات الفيديو بجودة عالية، وذلك من خلال شبكات الإنترنت السريع التي تنتشر في كل العالم. A suggested answer would be: the new generation of smartphones enables making video calls with high efficiency, and this is through the use of fast internet connections that are spread all over the world. Okay, by this slide, we have finished, the practice of the unit and all the revision. Wish you all the best of luck, and goodbye.